What's up, guys? Coach John Wojo here with JW Fitness, answering more questions from the interwebs. And today's question is, how much protein can you consume in one meal? And well, I can consume quite a bit, but I don't think that's the question that this gentleman is asking. He wasn't asking me personally this question. So how much protein can you consume in one meal? He's probably asking, how much protein can you digest in one meal or effectively use from one protein feeding? And I am not a PhD in nutrition, but I believe that it takes between 20 and 30 grams of protein to kind of help kickstart protein synthesis. And certainly you can digest as much protein as you're able to eat in a sitting. It's just what happens to that protein after you ingest it, you digest it, right? You break it down into its different amino acids, it circulates through your bloodstream, goes to whatever cells it can help, and then after a while, if it's not needed at that moment in time, what happens to it? It's my understanding that very little of protein, from my understanding, actually gets stored as body fat or converted to body fat, because you have to see it within the context of your larger diet. If you're eating a high protein, high carbs, and high fat, or whatever, third, or high protein, low carbs, moderate fat, or whatever, it's always fat that is going to be preferentially stored as body fat. It's just easier for your body to store excess fat as body fat. Sometimes it's fairly difficult, from my understanding, to store additional carbohydrates as body fat. So your body's always going to want to store that excess fat as fat and try and use the carbohydrates and try and use the protein. But if it cannot use the protein, it's typically like oxidized, or some of it is stored as body fat. So then the idea is, that's where the old bodybuilding concept came of like splitting up your meals into like 6, 7, 8 small meals a day. It wasn't to like stoke the flames of your metabolism, although some people like thought that was how it worked. It was to try and eat a high protein diet, but split it up into as many little protein feedings as possible so you can utilize the protein that you were taking in, as opposed to an extreme example would be like one meal a day. Like if you are a 200-pound person and you're trying to eat, let's say, 200 grams of protein a day, it's probably not very efficient. It's obviously not very efficient to try and eat 200 grams of protein in one sitting, and to think that that's going to be as effective as taking that 200 grams of protein and spreading it out over 4, 5, or 6 meals a day. So if your goal is to maximize your protein utilization, then you want to split up whatever your daily goal is, at least amongst 3, 4, 5 meals a day is probably a good rule of thumb. Spread out your meals every 2, 3, 4 hours, depending, and go at it like that. And that's all I got for you. If you like the content, please like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon.